Okay, so we're up to Eisvav, yeah. We started Eisvav. Let's start Eisvav again. So we had identified at length the spiritual maladies, illnesses, and the various levels. First, giving a place to the Yetzirah, just allowing him to be part of the whole process. In other words, he described for an agenda. And the end is Acharisa Mara Kalama, bitter as wormwood. These are all from various quotations throughout Chazal, Bavli, Rishalmi, and Medrash, where this word, Chayli, Veheisir Hashem, in Chokol Chayli, is it what's Chayli? It's this, it's that. The other Rebbe strung them together in a descending order. And it's all, the Ishtalshalis of it all is really, the Ruchli is Navoida, the Ishtalshalis is agenda. That's Shechosar Shar Hanun. It's missing, because Shar Hanun is not about me. Shalom is about the Eibishter's desire of me. Oh, the Chodesh Elul definitely has arrived. He said Shar Hanun is Re'iyah Lelikus. The Re'iyah is objective, Shmiya is subjective, seeing is objective. And that's what's missing. And from that, all the levels of Chayli descend, devolve. Chet HaEgel started with Re'iyah, but then they lost it quickly. And it became an event that they remember, that they are now hearing about for themselves. And that brought the Chet HaEgel. So, Eisvav. You have a copy there? Yeah, Eisvav. Yeah. So this thirst of love sickness, the ultimate quest, even though he described it as it's an ascending level. The point of the Maamor is, the would appear, that the Eibishter has factored into the very dynamic and fabric of creation the longing for a level above it. And that's because the tzimtzum is not kipshuta, not even in the oil. And therefore, there's a natural longing and a sense that wherever I'm at, this is not the truth. This is not the ultimate. There's a source, and there's a source, and there's a source. It's higher, it's deeper. And every level arrived at doesn't satisfy either, because there's always a level above it. So the objective is, like you said, Rebbe, ich will ze go nist, nothing man nit as dichalem. Only you alone. That he says the Shar Hanun. In the end, everybody is looking for God himself. Manas Friedman has a wonderful line, I remember. He says every Jew is running around like he has an appointment with God, but just forgot, just doesn't know that. I know I got to be somewhere. I got to go somewhere. He put it more beautifully than this. But let's see, we're driving us to all the craziness. We think it's this, we get there. No, it's not this. It doesn't satisfy. It's this quest, the quest of the Shar Hanun. Shar Hanun, the Eibishter. Yesterday at the Fabring, I don't know if you heard Shalom Ber Wasserman to tell me about his father. I'm sure he doesn't mind if this will be on the tape. You know, he just lost his in-laws in the tragic Surfside collapse. When we went to Miami for the day to visit Isser, that was Punta Shloshim in Miami Beach. So we went. For the Ainsworths, for Tzvi and E.T. Ainsworth. Now, so Shalom Ber, his in-laws, his father died tragically He was an infant. He didn't know him at all.
Israel.
His father was Israel, yeah.
He's Israel. He's Israel too.
Wait a second. Yeah,
He's Israel too.
No.
Sholom's in-laws are the Feldmans.
A younger brother named after his father. Anyways, he told me, after the Fabrengen, he said, his father was very ill rapidly, and then he passed away. He was, this is what I'm quoting him. He's going to see the Eivish. He says I couldn't say these words. He did some quoting here. He says, they told me, my mother told me. He was excited to see the Eivish. He said, it's Simoy. That's a way to leave the world, my friends. Look at the Pandal, the famous Pandal. He said before he died, like he wanted to die, so when it comes, Chavdallah Taves died the day before, whatever it is, he should already be by the altar, but she left it. Whatever cleansing, quickly done, let's go. It's to be by the Rebbe. Something like that. Kaponim, something like that. That's the truth is that's what drives all of us. That's what he's saying. It's not great hero. You have these longings. That's the Eivish to make ishtalshelus like this. They were just naturally seekers. There's a sense always, no, this higher. When that darga is reached, there's a sense is higher. And that's again because the tzimtzum is not kipshuta. If there was chas v'shalom kipshuta, then there would be no sense of anything higher. Not even in Oyer. So even in Giluyim there's the quest, but that Gilu doesn't satisfy. Higher Oyer, till the S. So let's continue in the text. He doesn't just want Hasaga to understand. Once you, so the Milo, so where is this most manifest, most pronounced? We said earlier because Dafke Malchus is Nimshach and Bia, and the Helem is the greatest in Malchus. That's where it starts. So the Tzimoyin, the longing, is the greatest there. Because the darkest above Malchus, it's oil. All right, so there's a degree of satisfaction. Basking in the light, but then there's there's higher. In Malchus, there's no subtlety. Malchus is thrust into creation, and hell and Veheisir, and the whole Avodah. And so therefore the longing is the most intense. B'chinas eish hey, Isha. Isha is eish hey. Hey, the final hey, Vitke Vovke, that's Malchus. Eish is oil. B'chinas Bareisha Chashoicha, beginning is, because of the Tzimtzum. And what's hey? V'hainu, the letter hey doesn't have any content. It's only the guttural breath from which letters are formed. It's the chomer, not the material, the substance, of the speech, but not the actual speech itself.
Matter.
The matter, yes. So what separates one letter from the other is not the chomer, the matter, the substance, but it's sort of the form. In the way it's articulated. In the matter, the stuff of the letters, they're all the same. And that's the letter hey. So therefore the Helem, there's no content even. So first the person has to express, this is the Hevel, that ascends from the heart. The chomer, the matter of the letters. And then comes the form. And then the letters are strung together and form words and convey a teichen. For that matter, each letter has a teichen, but that's only after it's in the tzir. So this process of the raw matter of the letter, and then the letters, and then the teichen is Bereishach HaSheicha. First is the Cheshach, that's the Helen, that's Malchus, that's just the Hevel Bilvad, and then Bahad and Hira comes light. Beginning is dark, and then is light. The light is the letters in form and create the content, the meaning, a word, a letter. That all comes later. That be'emes is all the input of what? Of Zohar. Hashpah of the higher spheres gives Malchus a tzir. The Malchus Be'etzim is a complete, open to any tzir, complete bittul. Raw matter. Because of the hell of Malchus, where there's no speech yet, there's no words, nothing's been articulated. It's the purest longing, inarticulated, like not even in words. Can't even put it in words for the Eibush. And it's dafka to the etzem, because in Malchus itself, there's no philosophy in words or descriptions and spheres. There's no tzir of Veheisir, chesed, gevura, chochma. It just is. It longs for the just is of the Eibush. Not unlike that the Yeshan Nivra is invested, the Yeshan Miti, and the Yeshan Nivra is the only one that really has the Tzimoin for the Yeshan Miti. Everything does, but it's clouded by the Giluyim and by, it can get stuck. It's only the Pekech that says, Anon Nosiv Mank. When the Giluyim get really bright, it's hard to go further. It's so satisfying. I didn't want to go further for it. To go into the inner chamber, to the Melech himself. It's there, but it can be drowned in the light. But in Malchus, there's no distraction. I want you alone. I mean, we're very careful. I'm going to talk, as I'm just going to hint to this now, but I don't know myself now. But, we don't know was, wo, and when, but obviously the Rebbe is the Rashi, Malchus. Him, our generation, is the tzimoin to that. The biggest paradox, with the lowest, with the shallowest, with the simplest. That's the point. It's not a chaymer, just ever bilvad. Teichen. You say the words we learn. We don't know what teichen means the way it meant in previous generations. What feelings mean. Ave, yire. What davening is, his bond, his transcendence, disconnected to the world around us. Our neshama is incapable of that. It's not. I mean, there are a few exceptions. Doesn't mean we're exempt from trying, but what's left is the tzimoin to the etzem. And that's the tachlis hakavon. That's tzimoin shebamad. And you see it by the Rebbe Mirek. The Rebbe's tzimoin from Mashiach, and that's what's the matter, and it's unparalleled. Unparalleled. In history. History, push. And no distraction. No distraction. And you can't buy him off with any giluyim. Behind the Shiyah Shel Rav is Tzimoino. The first of Malchus to the Etzem, and we can thirst cannot be slated, that's the English word. Bagiluyim Shebizor, the highest revelations of Zohar. She thirsts for the essence. Malchus is rooted in the Reisha Delois Yado, in the head that is not known in the Etzem. Kiyadua, Shekol, like Kiyadua. It's Chayim, it's classic Kabbalah. Shekol, Asvir Shor, Shom Ba'arech. All of the spheres are rooted in Arich, which is the lowest level, lower level of Keser. Arich means long, big. Arich Ampin, long faces, big Giluyim. That's the Shirshanet Solim. That's the source of Atzilus. Malchus, which is the Makabel, the only Hevel Bilvad, and the Chaymer Ha'isius. The paradox, of course, is the Chorsh Beradlo. Malchus is rooted in higher, in the Etzem, Malachim, therefore, in Egam, al de gile beginnas adig, even the gile yavarich of a keser, chlal, lo yirvu es tzimoina, yiravu es tzimoina, this will not quench your thirst. It's giluyim, but it's incomparable to atik, incomparable to that law, which is the etzem mamish, reisha de lo yisyad. Here he says, in the malchus, and from this longing and thirst of malchus, mishtal shel gam mata, bavidisa od the matzimoy in the balichuva. From here comes down the mata, the avoid the balichuva, because malchus is invested in pia, raglel yedis moves, a feet descend to death, the posuk there in Mishlei. And therefore, in the place of death, in the place of hell, which is where the balichuva is coming from, shatzimoy in shalem, God will say, therefore the thirst is much greater. He explains in Tanya. This is a reflection of the Tzimay de Malchus, that her desire is and oneness with the Etzim Reisha de Lo Yisyad. Lo Yizayin. So this is the outpost Parshas Eikev that is often like this year in connection with Shabbos and the Baruch from Elul. So the pasuk says that they wish to remove. Moishe Rabbeinu says to the Yid, they wish to remove from your illness, as opposed to that you won't have illness to begin with, which he said in the beginning is the difference between Avodas Tzadikim and Avodas Abalichur. This one is Veheisir, because the pasuk said Maamor b'Sefer Eila Dvarim Asher Diber Moishe. This is already in who's he talking to in the final generation that Moishe speaks to in Sefer Dvarim. Also, you say it's a Beisol Avodas about tshuva. This came as a result of the tshuva of Chet HaEgel, Chet HaMaraglim. So there was tshuva. And therefore he says Hashem will remove because there was the union of Chayli and it's removed. That's here. Sefer Shlois in Parsha B'Shalach. Nemar there it says all of the illness that I placed in the Mitzrayim I will not place upon you. So that's because even with the whole leaving in Atzadik Shalichotim Yoma, that's Madrigas Atzadik who never sin. You should be Sefer Shlois when you need to use because that's the early period of our history when things were rosy and wonderful. It's right after Yitzias Mitzrayim, right after Matan Torah. So you say it's a b'nei Yisrael, but it's a tzaddik, and then you were holding the madrega of a tzaddikim childhood, like a spiritual childhood, which is innocent and pure. However, then the level two of a tzaddikim, because the tzimboyin isn't there in this revealed way. And as they're going to say later, both that and how we'll see in a second. So then the pasuk says what? Kinya Hashem Rifecha. Shezeh Hashem Messiah in the pasuk in Parsha in B'Shalach. Kinya Hashem Rifecha. I am Hashem your healer. That's the hemshech of all the illness which I placed upon the Mitzrayim. I will not place upon you. So look at the Rosh Tevis is Arich. Aleph Reish Yud Ches. That's what we say. V'halei arucha u'refuah shleima lefanech. In the Birchas Refainu, because arucha means a healing. So that is a healing that what more avodas tzadikim, which only connects to Ardich, the highest level of Gilui. Shein kin al yedei avodas abali tshuva. The pasuk says, "Veheisir havayim chokal chayli." So here, Nasis Amshachas Bechinisati. Dafka through the Chaylas Ava and the Tzimoyin to So the Eibishter himself, so he is Nimshach at higher than that. Look at over 45. Binyan Zen Nisker, so never spoke about this, he mentioned in the Maamor, Shagam, Shaloset Lovoi, Ti Avedis Tzadikim, Avedis Atshuva, Gam Beis Tzadikim, Loset Lovoi, it's the Chiddush of Mashiach, that even about, he'll teach the Tzadikim to the Tshuva, Mashiach Asal Asava Tzadikai B'Tshuvta, Mashiach will come and make the Tzadikim, bring them to Tshuva. That's the avodah of the Baal Tshuva, that the Mashiach will inspire even the Tzadikim. Right from Kololi, as I mentioned once, the union of Shlichus. Right from Kololi, because everybody is shaykh is still on their level. That to put oneself aside for another yid and be inspired, therefore, by his Tshuva that lifts you to avodah Tshuva. First of all, making Bali Tshuva, but it's more than that. It's being inspired by the one that you inspire that lifts then you to the level of Tshuva. To whatever degree you can be open to it. It's the one expression of it. The other, if funny. Let's conclude. Continue. So, Gam King in the Shiva de Nechemta. This, the avodah Tshuva, is connected to the 7 weeks of consolation Shavuim, after the 3 weeks of rebuke, punishment. In the first was Matan Torah, all was good. Then, Chet Egel, the plus of the Paranus, then Chet Egel, that's the first Chet. Shivas of the Tammuz, that's the first Chet. Then comes Shiva de Nechemta, then comes the comfort and consolation, it's Avodas Tshuva. This is the Nechama. In the Nechama, who what's the Nechama? What's the comfort? So go back to where we were. We're going to fall again. I would say where we were wasn't where we need to be because it didn't last. So what kind of comfort is that? Not a comfort. So the comfort is the nechama is that from this year there will come an oil which is higher than before the descent. This in Medrash, it says in Medrash. Don't be pained over that you broke the luchas. Because with what they're going to get now is far greater the balucha, so they should still hear your Ella says adibris levad. The luchas tradition is only that says adibris. Now you're going to get many more mitzvahs. Makemachidis and elsewhere it says in another place in Gemara, else from Medrash. This is from Gemara. If Eden had not sinned, they only would have gotten and say for Yeshua that the rest of Teresh Baal Peh came as a result of the Cheta'im. So the second Luchas, the Medrash says, the Eibishter says to Moishe Rabbeinu, I'm going to give you Sheyeheben Halachas Medrash V'Agodas. Mamish all of Teresh Baal Peh, because Teresh Baal Peh comes as a result of our Yegiyah. Our toil is Megala, all these Chedushim, etc. And that's Tshuva. It comes through toil. That's what the Pasuk says in Mishlei in Iyov. Sorry. And he will relate to you the hidden wisdom, Kikiflayim L'Tashir, double wisdom. Kiflayim means double, L'Tashir means wisdom. What's the double? Herein lies the nechama.
Tashia is wisdom, or Tashia is strength?
Wisdom. That's the point. Talum is chachma. If you look up, that positive, it means wisdom. She says, this is the Nechama, Nachamu. Be confident, base pa'amim, kiflaim the Tashiyah. Double. What's the double? Again, double is not the same thing repeated twice. That's not Chiddush. Double it's a whole new level, not just a Tirish Biksav, but as you said, the Halachis, and Medrash Vagot. That's the whole new level of connection to the Etzem that comes Dafke through Avodas HaTshuva, the Tzimoyin of Malchus, the Tzimoyin that comes Dafke from the Hell of Melcheshech HaGolus. However, Gambazeh, a Mistapkin Adayim is still not satisfied. Kedisa says in Psikt, in explaining the Hemshech of the Shiva de Nechem, that Eibishter first sent the Nevi'im, right, to comfort the Yidden, and then the Yidden say, which was this week's Haftarah, Sheshi Sultan is Fatim Besin as Avani Hashem, and the Yidden say that no, this is not enough. Hashem is still forsaking me. Kloimer ein mispayes es minachamas anevim. I'm not pious. I'm not
consoled.
Huh? Peace. From the Nechama and the Nevi'im, the Nechama Shadei Nevi'im, even after the Nechama the Nevi'im convey Tziyun. What's Tziyun? Tziyun means, Chassidus brings, it means, the word Tziyun means a sign. It means a level of complete bittul that points to the Eibishter, not me, Eibishter. But they give Yerushalayim and they give Tziyun. Yerushalayim is already Yira, seeing. Seems the Etzim HaNefesh. Shehin Kodesh HaPnimi Shebenefesh. Tziyun goes on the essence of the Neshama, which of course of Tziyun Mishpati Poda. The Tziyun is redeemed through Mishpat. That goes in Etzim HaNeshama. The Shover, the captives, that's the level of the Neshama that can be captured. But the level of Tziyun can't be. And that's the Tzimoyin comes from there. I was always a Yid. I always wanted you. I just didn't know. So the Etzem Neshama cries out. She's not satisfied. She's not reconciled with the Nechama of the Nevi'im. Sheesh bezenes in his mokim loimar. Since it's Giloyim only, there's room, Shazavani Hashem. You have still forsake, you still elude me. And she arouses in Yiddish, the Rebbe's words were Ziruf Tadois. She means the Neshama. In her cry of Azavani Hashem, and the Chama of the Hanoichi Menachemchem. I alone and I myself will comfort you. Makadosh Baruch Hu atzmei from the Eibishter himself. Lord, only once. Like it says in Matan Torah, El Anoichi based for me, but Anoichi 2 times. Okay, let's stop here. I don't want to rush the end. We'll continue tomorrow. So Shvedish, we want to finish on time.